Hey, Alan here for Old English Outfitters. You know, Henry has made a real name for themselves in the firearms industry, and not in small part to their very boastful claim that everything they make is sourced right here in the United States. And that has made them very popular with American shooters, and for many good reasons. They, of course, are most famous for their lever-action rifles. Now, most of the lever-action rifles use tube-fed magazines, but certain calibers you can't use tube-fed magazines for. Browning has made rifles that are lever actions, chambered for things like 30-06, 308, those sorts of things that have very pointed bullets. Can't use a tube magazine for a very pointed projectile. Henry makes the same thing in their Long Ranger series. This is a Henry Long Ranger. Now, the Long Rangers are made in a few different calibers. All of them share the same characteristic that instead of using a tubular magazine, because of the calibers they're using a box magazine. You can't stack a pointed bullet behind another pointed bullet in a tube magazine. Recoil will cause the one behind to set off the one in front, and you have a disaster. So you use a box magazine for those sorts of things. The other thing you do because of this is you need a good strong lockup and need a little bit of a little different bolt than you have on some of the other types of calibers. So Henry has essentially copied Browning's idea, which is a ratcheting lever action. This has some grooves in the bottom of it, and it literally ratchets it in and out. Pretty effective, works really well. The particular one we shot today, Henry Long Ranger, is a caliber 5.56 by 45 chamber. So it will shoot 5.56 or 223 spec ammunition, either one. The rifling twist is 1 in 9. So it will shoot most of the common bullet weights in those calibers. Not going to shoot the really heavy bullet weights really well, but it probably doesn't have to. This is a hunting rifle. It is not a tactical rifle per se. We slapped a Trijicon SRO on it this morning just so we'd have something on top of it to shoot. And it works fine with that, and this would be a great combination if you were in close brush, close cover where you didn't need a lot of magnification, but you need to get on target fast. This particular configuration of the Long Ranger has a laminated stock, predominantly black and gray coloration to it. Got a nice recoil pad back here. Of course, you don't need it much for this caliber range. It's very soft shooting. The normal Henry lever action. 16.5-inch barrel that is threaded on the front. So if you wanted to put a suppressor on this, you could certainly do so. It's got sling swivel studs, both fore and aft, so easy to put a sling on. All you need is a sling with the appropriate swivel mounts, and you're in good shape, good to go. It's got a standard Picatinny rail on top of the receiver, so things like this work well. Standard scopes work well. Comes with an offset hammer spur, which of course will go to either side. So if you've got a scope up there where you're not going to be able to get up to cock the hammer, no big deal. Put the offset hammer spur on there and you're good to go. The magazine with this is a 5-round capacity. Again, this rifle is not necessarily a tactical rifle per se, for whatever sort of meaning you want to attach to that word tactical. It's primarily a hunting rifle. The magazine release is that button that's right there. The magazine itself is going to fit flush when you put it in. It'll fit flush, doesn't stick out the bottom. That's nice, gives you a nice convenient place to carry it. The balance point of the rifle is pretty much right there. So if you're walking through the woods and you just want to carry it down by your side, not on the sling, there you go, perfectly balanced. You push the magazine release button, the magazine is not going to jet out because it's not designed to. All that magazine release button is going to do is unlock it so you can pull it out. We noticed that if you load the magazine fully, 5 rounds, and you go to cycle the action, that first round is kind of tough because that bolt's dragging on that top round as it comes back. You can do it, you just got to hoss on it a little bit, give it a little extra oomph, and you'll get it in there. Not going to hurt anything, worked fine for us. Note that if the action is open, the magazine is not going to come out or go in. So you can't really open the action and do that unless you back this up a little bit. And in that case, you've still got the bolt partially closed. So probably the best thing to do is just load it, put it in, and overcome that first round. Trigger pull's pretty good. We didn't measure it for weight, but it's pretty good. Handled really well. In case you're not familiar with it, Henry lever actions do not have external buttons or slide levers or anything like that to make the weapon safe. They have what I think is a very, very good way of doing a rifle like this. They have a transfer bar inside the hammer. So if you want to make this weapon safe, you've loaded it, you've chambered a round, you're ready to go, but you don't want to shoot that round right away. You want to make the weapon safe. How do you do that? Well, you get a hold of the hammer and you pull the trigger so the hammer will come forward, and then let go of the trigger. When you let go of the trigger, the transfer bar will stay in the bottom of the hammer, which lets the hammer come down. There's a cavity there. It pockets over the top of the firing pin. You're completely safe. No issues with it discharging. When you're ready to fire, cock the hammer. When you pull the trigger and hold the trigger down, like you would when you're firing it, the transfer bar is going to come up. The transfer bar hits the firing pin, and voila, we have a gunshot. So just remember, when you're going to do that, you want to make it safe. Get a hold of the hammer, pull the trigger, and then let go of the trigger. Once you do that, you're good. That hammer's going to come down completely safe, very smooth, very efficient, and does away with external buttons and levers, all that sort of thing. So it's a very nice system. The lever action on this, excepting that first loaded round, was very smooth, no problems, shot really well. The sight was not necessarily pre-zeroed to this, but it was close enough for us to hit most things we were plinking at down there. Pretty good rifle. Again, in this caliber range, 5.56, 223, recoil very negligible. Not sure what the exact weight is on this, but it's comfortable enough heavy enough to be very comfortable to shoot. The Long Ranger series, again, comes in a few different calibers. Some of them have iron sights. All of them are capable of taking a scope base. It's a nice system if you favor a lever action and you favor calibers that are going to have pointed bullets for long range efficiency, and that's the caliber you want, or that's the caliber you have, but you really want a lever action. This is a really good way to go. The Henry Long Ranger. That is our review for today. We hope you enjoyed it. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time. I'm Alan for Old English Outfitters.